Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay. Hello. Mr. Samuel Lasagna, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I think you've done a mighty fine job already, Samuel Lasagna. I couldn't have put it any better
Samuel J. Lasagna, the CEO of Lasagna Enterprises.
Couldn't have put it any better myself, honestly.
Yes, a friend. The CEO of nothing. Unless you count being stupid. And we are going to be rambling about good things. Very, very good things.
He's not
for
that
the
stupid.
Next however long.
He's not that stupid.
I'm very stupid. I'm very stupid.
Nuh-uh.
No, after the next, probably about 15 minutes, you'll definitely think I'm stupid. Anyways, so, which one of us should introduce the topic at hand? You want to go ahead and take the lead, or you want me to try to start us off with saying what we're going to be talking about?
What if you just started reading off the theory you posted?
Yeah, all right.
Back in 23. Good 23.
Yeah. Okay, and then afterwards we can give actual backstory on the theory. So, let me look at this. Alright, I'm just gonna read this straight up, and I'm just gonna read it. I'm not gonna, elaborate on anything. I'm just gonna read it. One more Nitro. What could it be? I personally think, hear me out, it's Tour Rainbow Road.
Tour Rainbow Road.
Keep in mind, this was... Yeah, keep in mind, I said I wasn't going to comment on anything. But keep in mind, this was right around the time of Wave 5 of the Boost Your Course Pass. Now, I'm going to continue reading it. Let me explain. First bullet point. Before, I thought the Mystery City was a Piranha Plant Cove-style Rainbow Road. When it was revealed to be Rome, which, that's kind of the origin of the theory, thinking that Rome was going to be Rainbow Road, fit the ID gap, I thought my theory was over. But now there's a very small Paris-Rome gap that could easily grow to fit gmob_Rainbow Road, since it alphabetically falls there. Second bullet point. Tor has many Nitro assets that currently just don't have a home. With the Rainbow Road, you have infinite possibilities as to what you can do. I can't read. You're not restricted in any way at all. Let me remind you that these assets are a Goomba shoe and a UFO road. That's right, a UFO as a road. Very easily fits the space aesthetic most Rainbow Roads have. Third bullet point. 3DS Rainbow Road was in Wave 3. The big, grand, sectional, fan-favorite Rainbow Road was in Wave 3. Why would they do this? They could have easily put Wii Rainbow Road there since it's also well-liked and not as grand, but they didn't. They put the big boy. That is exactly how I worded it in the message. They put the big boy. Why do this for any reason other than having an even more surprising and better Rainbow Road in Wave 6? In my opinion, Wii Rainbow Road is better, but it's kind of underwhelming compared to 3DS, not gonna lie.
Lies.
In order to fully deliver, they would need something new. And the fourth bullet point is they allegedly had every course planned from the start with no plans of change. Shut up. The final Wii slot was just pushed to Wave 5, meaning Wii Rainbow Road is no longer a real possibility. Some are saying GCN, but let me point out that GBA, GCN, and DS are all missing assets, and all of the Rainbow Roads are already in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And there you have it. That's how a Tour Rainbow Road is likely. That is what I said July 10th, 2023. That was my theory.
I vividly remember the Moonview scare. This before, when people saw Wave 5 has 2 Wii courses and everyone, just like half the community was like, well, that's the last Wii course. Goodbye Wii Rainbow Road. And I was befuddled. I was flabbergasted. I was gobsmacked by just everyone is so loyal to those blasted prefixes. It was a time to be alive. That's all I'll say before the code names came out. And
Okay, now, why is this relevant now? Why are we talking about a theory for the Booster Course Pass in the middle of 2025 before Mario Kart World is about to release and Tour has not had anything new in however long? Though, according to Koopa V, that might be changing.
Both of these things are about to change.
What, Mario Kart World releasing is gonna change? Mario Kart Worlds is gonna get delayed for another 3 years, confirmed right here by Samuel. He did not mean to do that. He just accidentally leaked the biggest piece of info.
You heard nothing. Or you heard it here first,
Okay.
whichever works better.
Whichever works better, you know? Either you just accidentally leaked some very big info, or it didn't happen at all. Shh! Shut up! It didn't happen. Yeah. Cut this out in post. Don't cut it out. Anyways, so why does this matter? Well, going back to the start of Tour Rainbow Road, of course, I mentioned while I was reading that the start of it was because of the, you know, Rome gap that people thought would be Rio at the time, which I know my boy here has fine opinions on it not being Rio. Anyways, yeah, I thought, you know, Rainbow Road could fit there, and it would, you know, I read off the rest of the theory already. It would fit well, it would be bigger and grander, and all that. Here's the thing, though. The concept for it is very, very similar to something that could happen in this upcoming game of ours.
No.
Now, yeah, you're saying no, like you definitely weren't expecting this at all.
No way. No shot.
No way, bro. I was just scrolling up through our DMs to like see some of the things that we talked about regarding this, and I just saw the casual "Hello, Samuel" messages with threatening aura. So, which is always nice to see.
Well, it says right here, on Thursday the 15th of May, in the jungle of Newell, in the heat of the day, in the cool of the pool, you said, what if World Rainbow Road has lap changing and is city-based, ... I think that's 7 dots after the city-based. And then you said, Tour RR will be real. Now,
yeah.
This is very interesting because it's not impossible.
Exactly. As he said afterwards, after I said that, genuinely not out of the question. How does this keep happening? Okay, actually, let me elaborate on that. Because before Wave 6 released, it was really funny. Because, like, every, 2 weeks, there was a new piece of info to, account for Tour Rainbow Road. That would, push it to be more and more likely. I don't remember all the specifics because it's been 2 years. But it was amazing at the time to just watch more and more evidence. I remember him saying, like him specifically saying, it genuinely scares me how there keeps on being more and more evidence to fuel your idea. That stuck with me because it was.
When you think about
beautiful. And then they just dropped Wii Rainbow Road on us anyways.
All the, what was it? The blank prefix slots, with the nitros that we assumed would all exist at some point. The scattered evidence with assets that didn't have a home. And then you had, obviously, the Rome gap, which turned out to be for Rome. But then, when it turned out to be for Rome, there was still the gap left over. And then, as you said, the stinking Moonview scare, it was a trip. It was a trip.
Yeah.
Like, Tour Rainbow Road theory just would not die.
Yeah. I asked you how you felt about the whole situation once, and then I remember, or I specifically asked you if that one audio of you screaming was how you felt about it, and you said it was pretty accurate. In the video you can insert the audio of you screaming there. Yeah, pretty accurate. Now, so let's just look into this. So, you pointed out that it seems like the Mario Kart World devs do not care about the track links very much.
They don't.
Or yeah. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and prefix this with this. I have been avoiding as much about this game as possible, so, you know, do not, anything that I say is something that he told me. If he got it wrong, it's not because I am just spouting wrong information. It's because he's the only source of info I have.
So it's me spouting wrong information. I take full responsibility for anything that
you take
video.
full responsibility. Yes, all of this is your fault. This entire video is your fault.
I didn't even have the idea.
Did you not? I thought. Oh, you didn't. Anyways, anyways. So yeah, you said that the track links vary wildly in your exact words, varying wildly. So, and then you said, so you really hope they give us a ridiculously long Rainbow Road and a ridiculously long intermission for it that isn't just a canon. So, let's just point out, this Rainbow Road is, like, Tour Rainbow Road as a concept heavily revolves around the concept of it being city-based because of it being a tour track.
When we say city-based, we mean different laps have different routes. So you're not going around the same thing multiple times. You're going. You might be going through one finish line multiple times, but it's taking a different route on each lap.
So it was, yeah, that's kind of the point. And let's just point out that Mario Kart World, despite it, the whole point of intermissions existing, it doesn't rule out the possibility for a track to have sections. We saw in the Treehouse gameplay specifically, one of the very few things I've actually seen about the game, that DK Spaceport has sections. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have laps, mm-hmm. which means that the concept of that happening is entirely within the question. Of mm-hmm. course, they don't really change during the lap, besides unless you want to count intermissions, but that barely counts. But the point is, like clearly what they were doing with the Booster Course Pass with the lap changing is they were experimenting for this game, because it's the same holographic stuff that just blocks off the road and tells you where to go. It's the same thing. So there is absolutely nothing stopping them from having that in here.
No. You
go.
also have Mario Circuit with the three different routes corresponding to the first three Mario Circuits from Super Mario Kart. You also have a number of different tracks that are confirmed to have, even within the same track, they're confirmed to have different routes around it that you can access, not just in Grand Prix, but in Versus mode with, we've seen a mini-map where Mario Circuit is just Mario Circuit 3. We've seen a mini-map where Peach Beach goes on a completely different route. We know for a fact that Crown City and Peach Stadium have two different modes of traversal. We've also seen a third Crown City mini-map. We're not sure what purpose it serves, but it encompasses the entirety of Crown City, at least it looks like. We've seen a mini-map that just has all of Crown City in it. We're not sure what that's for, but clearly this game is it's very liberal with its usage of different routes in the same area and sometimes in the same rate. It's very liberal in that way. Checkmate conservatives. So
okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and say, I actually didn't know about the Peach Beach thing, and I didn't know about the Crown City mini-map that is like the entirety of Crown City. That's new stuff for me, and it just further proves this idea. Wow, who could have guessed? The idea that is actually really true is being proven. Who could have guessed?
It's extremely true. At this point, it's undeniable.
Yeah. Now, this was gonna be it, and I was going to just kind of say, of course this is speculation, but it is kind of weird how all of these dots connect. But something happened today, the day that we are recording this, that I feel like more or less entirely proves it. And I'm talking about that one interview. The one that happened. I'm looking for where you talked about it. Here it is. Mario Kart BS chat. Scrolling through it. Now, I want to point out something that a good friend of ours, Timothy, not Shy Guy, pointed out. So, he pointed out here that okay, well, let's start on what the interview says. This game started development for the Switch 1 in 2017. That is a long time ago. Right?
This game predates Tour.
Yeah. Yeah, Tour. Now, you could be like, okay, well, that immediately disproves it. Here's the thing. They didn't really go full throttle until they learned that this game was basically just going to be on the Switch 2. They didn't like fully go full throttle at it like until then, because they were too focused on trying to, optimize it for the Switch. They didn't know they would have better hardware.
Well, I'm not sure if it says that exactly. Timmy could be interpreting it a little bit differently. It says in the article that they were drawing up the world map pretty early on in development. It's like they had to have something to drive around and prototype, and then they would start filling in courses from there. So I'm not sure if I'm not sure if full throttle is the way I'd go. But
can I just? Okay, I was just gonna say. It is, at least like from what I picked up, and also I just now realize is directly stated by someone else right below what Timmy said. But they didn't move development to the Switch 2 until the Booster Course Pass came out. That is long after, like, Tor was fully there and everything. And long, that's whenever they started to fully put in their ideas, which means that that's probably about the time that they were fully starting to develop this thing. That's all I was going to say. Also, I guess I'll go ahead and point out in the interview, they did say they created the world map first and then started slotting courses into it.
Mario Kart Tour, well, the relationship between World and Tour is interesting, especially now that we know that World predates Tour. Because it's kind of funny how many ideas that wound up being used in World came to Tour first. You think about stuff like costumes. You think about stuff like different routes through the same courses. Think about stuff like those silly little dances they do on the character selection screen.
Yeah.
There was unused in Tour's data for a long time was just this animation of Toadette's character artwork, just standing there in her pose, but like kind of just breathing, trying to hold that pose. Just an animation of her standing there, like you would see on a character selection screen. It was unused in Tour's data. I'll show it in the video. Okay. It doesn't say. Let's see. They moved development to the 2 Nintendo Switch when the Booster Course Pass was being conceptualized. So we're talking, the Booster Course Pass being in development gave them an excuse to off-road it to the 2. So we're talking mid to late 2021. But I don't know, just the timelines. The timelines of all this, World coming first, it tells me that there was a lot of note passing, at least, between maybe the people who are working on Tour and the people who were working on World. You also saw a lot of ideas for World coming to the Booster Course Pass first. Stuff like the holographic arrows. Stuff like the Patooey plants. A lot probably, or like, Man, I'm not a good talker.
Okay, I just want to point out here, that note passing is exactly why I think this is absolutely confirmed.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing. From what we understand, the Rainbow Road, you unlock it and it rises out of the water, right? So it's not just on the map. They didn't have to incorporate it on the map. All they needed to do was make a Rainbow Road.
Who said it's rising out of the water?
I don't remember. This was a long time ago. This was a long time ago. I remember there was like footage of it like rising up though. Unless I'm absolutely going insane. I thought the whole thing was like...
I'm sorry, okay. I think you're going insane.
Well, where does the Rainbow Road spawn then? It doesn't really matter.
I'm not aware that we have any footage of it at all.
Because if you can find what I'm talking about, then that would be splendid. But point is, they didn't really have to incorporate the Rainbow Road in. They just had to make it spawn in. So they didn't really have any set, we need to incorporate this into the world thing with the Rainbow Road. They just had to make it. And here's the thing, now let's go back to Tor. That stupid two little thing gap that stayed after Rome. Why? Why does that exist?
Paris 4.
Now, he will continue to say Paris 4 for the rest of his life. but the thing is, here's the thing. Why does that gap exist? Well, if they just had to make a road, Rainbow Roads, it's called a road, it's called a Rainbow Road. They just had to make that spawn in. And, you know, they didn't have to, I mean, of course they would have to incorporate it somewhat, but not too much. It's not even there beforehand. So if they just had to make it spawn in, and that gap stayed, well, that gap was meant for something. And this Rainbow Road, well, judging by the fact that they were really only, judging by the fact that they really only opened up their minds to all of the ideas they had once they knew that they could push the game to the Switch 2, it's like, you really think they fully developed a Rainbow Road before then? Do you really think that gap was just there for a Paris 4 that didn't get released? Why wouldn't they release a Paris 4? It's the simplest thing ever. They could throw it in anything. Why would they go out of their way to start making a Paris 4 and stop? Because that's one of the easiest things they could make, and then they just didn't. Stop your cackling. I know what I'm talking about. My point here is that I think the concept for Tor's Rainbow Road was put in Mario Kart World whenever they were passing along notes, and they were like, hey, we aren't actually going to make this. We started like doing a little bit of stuff for our game for it. We're not going to make it. And it was like, okay, sure, kablam, let's make it an R thing. That is the point I'm making here. What do you think, Samuel J. Lasagna?
Why did they stop working on Ghost Valley 3 after they had a light map for it?
Fair point. Who knows, actually? Okay, that one's like a completely different story, though, because, like...
I know, I'm...
Like, well, one of these is, like, straight up, they finished something and just didn't do anything with it. The other one is, they made a whole light map for this course and then just did not finish it. But, like, they were good into the development of something in that gap for it to actually have a gap. Like, something happened there that got cut, and I doubt it was something as simple as a Paris 4 that could be thrown in anything. Gmob Rainbow Road fitting that gap just makes far too much sense for me, especially with the other points that we considered earlier on. Just, that's all you have to say to me?
Well.
Just send 6 well emojis in Discord, since you said well 6 times.
Hang on. Is there a well emoji?
I have no idea, but it feels like there should be. Why?
Yeah, there should be. If they've got a mosquito emoji.
I mean, they've got a...
Send you the mosquito.
Writing hand emoji. They've got a mousetrap emoji. The box with cheese. They got nest with eggs, but they don't have a well? It's stupid!
Almost as stupid as,
Every time that someone says multiple times, I just think of that one image that's Wind and Iris be like, must have been the
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Almost as stupid as Tour Rainbow Road Theory, am I right? Am I right, gamers? No. No.
No.
I'm joking. No, it's confirmed. It's confirmed. There's too much going
confirmed.
for it. You
Yeah.
know, it makes too much sense.
Of course, okay, let's address probably one of the biggest things. You're overthinking this.
Yes.
No. Glad to see that you. I'm glad to see that you understood our point. Like you cannot. Like it would be one thing if there was like only like the few little small pieces here and there, but the fact that everything so perfectly links up with no real contradictions, unless you want to say things like Paris 4 or the Ghost Valley 3 light map, that can easily be explained away with other completely reasonable things, it's like, you kind of start to wonder how true it is, you know? And even if Rainbow Road and World doesn't have those, like, lap-changing stuff, okay, the gap was tiny. The initial theory accounted for it having, like, the lap-changing and stuff, but you can take that out, and if anything, it becomes more likely. Like, I don't know. It just feels too likely to me.
Dang, what was I gonna say?
You were going to say how much you love and appreciate me for coming up with Tour Rainbow Road back in like May of 2023.
Was it that? Was it? I thought it was longer ago than that for some reason.
I mean, it was before Rome. That's all I know.
I'm slow. I need to go back to
Kindergarten.
I'm grandpa. You need to get me back to bed.
Okay, we had two exact opposite levels of thinking. All right, so you think we should try to do a recap, even though we have nothing written down and just been going off of just our casual speaking?
No, I'm very professional speaking. Very professional.
Then why don't you try to do our recap?
This was all prepared. Okay, to recap, the Paris 4 gap was actually meant for Tour Rainbow Road, and it was conceived for either Mario Kart World or Mario Kart Tour, but then they started working on it for Tour first, and then when Mario Kart World was Mario Kart World, and then they put it in the they put it in Mario Kart World, and it has lap changing because that is a thing they like to do in Mario Kart Tour. Like if they were going to end Mario Kart Tour on a Rainbow Road, then it would have lap changing routes, and that is a thing that would also fit in Mario Kart World because Mario Kart Tour and Mario Kart World did a lot of the same things, and you can't and it's really likely because the theory keeps reviving itself somehow against all odds and all common sense. The theory keeps reviving itself. Like we thought it was done when Rome was revealed. We thought it was done when Wave 5 came out. We thought it was done when Mario Kart Tour reached its end of content. We thought it was done when the Booster Course Pass was over. But then Mario Kart World, and it's got to have a big, awesome Rainbow Road. And then Mario Kart Tour is getting new content. So I don't know what else to tell you. It's real.
Yeah. Every time someone says it's real, I always think of just is real in my mind.
Real.
Okay. Anyways, I think we've rambled about Tour Rainbow Road enough. Don't you think? We've already proven to everyone that it's absolutely happening.
That's a mathematical proof. My math professor would take that as a proof. He would give it an A+++ because I worked on it.
Exactly. Only because you worked on it, though. Give it to anyone else, and it would be like a B-.
Okay, now what was... Where is... There...
Yeah, shall we start talking about our second topic here?
And the much realer topic, might I add.
Yeah,
Not
and yeah. The much realer topic. Something that everyone knows will happen. You know, nobody is denying this. Mario Kart World DLC. Now, I'm going to go ahead and prefix this with something. If Tour Rainbow Road somehow is not the Rainbow Road in Mario Kart World, you know where it's going. But, assuming that it is, because it is, let's just go ahead and talk about the DLC of this game. Would you mind starting us off?
Mario Kart Tour.
Samuel J. Lazagane?
Don't use my real name like that in a video, man.
Sam Bam Samuel J. Lazagane. That's his full legal name.
No, it's... Man, I'm gonna get doxxed. This is...
You already have been.
I'm gonna get doxxed, and it's gonna be your fault. Oh my... No, that's it. That's it. After this recording, I'm launching the nukes. I'm launching the nukes.
Oh, am I gonna die?
Anyway. Okay, so we're going back to Mario Kart Tour again. So Mario Kart Tour, so everyone talked about how the Booster Course Pass was for tour preservation, except it wasn't because they forgot Pipeline. But it also forgot a large number of Mario Kart Super Circuit remakes that Mario Kart Tour did. Now, if you go back through the history of Mario Kart retro courses since DS, and you look at Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart Tour in particular, the only 3 courses in Mario Kart Super Circuit that didn't get a remake that appeared in either 8 or Tour were, let's see, Shy Guy Beach. I think that's what it's called. Shy Guy Beach.
Yeah.
Broken Pier, and Rainbow Road. That 17 out of 20 is impressive. So my headcanon for the GBA nonsense, I'm just going to read what I wrote to you earlier, is that Nintendo is embarrassed that Super Circuit wasn't developed in-house, and they wanted to go through and remake everything in their own image. Because 8 and Tour did that to a lot of remakes, and I actually
fully agree with that.
Just remake all of the courses, remake most or all of them, and never touch the game again. Just scrub it from canon. Just forget it ever happened.
Yeah, because of course, until the original Mario Kart 8 DLC, all of the courses were just identical to how they appeared in Mario Kart Super Circuit. But then the moment that DLC started, they've remade 17 out of 20 courses from that game in a brand new style.
Mario Circuit was in Base 8.
That is true. I forgot that course existed.
Most people do. It's okay.
I forget GBA Mario Circuit even exists as a whole.
Most people do. It's okay. So,
but either way, it still does fit the criteria. So,
Mario Kart World does not have any Super Circuit courses in base game
at all.
It has Super Circuit music, no Super Circuit courses.
Not one.
This is where the preservation DLC comes in.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of funny how they were very clearly going out of their way to preserve the tour courses that had the most changed to them? Like, they went out of their way to pull Choco Mountain, a course that most people didn't like originally. Yeah. Because they changed it. He's gonna keep doing this for the next 5 hours. I've screwed myself.
Hey, no, I'm humming specifically the world version. You can't tell because I'm not good at electric guitar. I'm humming the world version. Don't worry.
Okay, that makes it mildly better. Yeah, point here is that Choco Mountain is you'd think they wouldn't bring it back. But they did, because they changed it a lot in Tour.
And also because they changed it a lot in World. So it was okay for them to bring it.
But here's the thing. Like, you'd think they wouldn't bring back a course that most people have a distaste for if they didn't change it a lot. Which they did. You would think they wouldn't bring back Calamari Desert whenever it's just empty. But they did, and they gave it a new thing. They added Calamari Desert 2 from Tour into it. They were specifically bringing back the courses that they changed a lot. So why is it that they would have a GBA course? I think they left one out in Wave 6, if I remember correctly. Am I right to say that?
Yeah, that's the only wave for that one.
Yeah. Every single wave, they brought back a GBA course. Which is very strange. Clearly, the whole point there was that they were archiving the courses they changed most for Tour. So what about the other ones? Well, I'm going to go ahead and prefix this with this. They don't care about Bowser Castle 1 through 3. Mm-mm. They did not bother to change them at all in Tour. They were remaking all of the courses that he cares about too. But Nintendo doesn't. They were going out of their way to remake these courses for Tour, and then whenever they remade those specific 3, they didn't change them at all. Although there is a difference here, which is Bowser Castle 4. They did remake it, and they did it just like the rest. So, what am I hearing? I just heard a sound come through your mic.
Oh, that's my text message sound effect on my phone.
Why? Why is cartoon sound effects your text message sound?
It's the slide whistle sound effect from Banjo-Kazooie when a text box for dialogue text box slides into view. I associate that with a person talking. It's a text message noise.
Okay, that's more fair. From my end, it sounded like a generic cartoon Hanna-Barbera slide sound effect.
It is. Pretty much. I'm pretty sure they pulled it from the Warner Bros. Library.
But, in that... I'm saying it makes more sense, in that context. I know what the sound effect is. I'm saying, I was hearing it just as a Hanna-Barbera sound effect. Okay. I wasn't...
Okay, so you didn't have the context. Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Anyways... So, Bowser Castle 4, they went out of their way to remake that Bowser Castle. Now let's go back to what we were saying. They didn't remake 3 courses. I think you can tell where this is going. Samblog the Bamlog, why don't you take over for a moment, since my brain just kind of decided to die.
Okay, so, the Super Circuit Course Pass. It gives you Super Circuit Island.
That's all you need to say. Just
okay, so let's see.
Pause.
Okay, so right. Let's see. You have so as far as courses that haven't been remade yet or got particularly large remakes that were conspicuously absent from the Booster Course Pass, I have laid out a very simple proof of concept. So, Super Circuit Course Pass with Super Circuit Island. The Super Cup and the Circuit Cup. With the Super Cup will feature Shy Guy Beach because it was last seen in Mario Kart Wii and was extremely faithful. Then we will have Lakeside Park, which will be done justice in this game. They will use the Tour ideas as a basis, but they will improve upon it. I'm sure it'll look glorious. I'm sure. Yoshi Desert, great Tour remake, decently faithful, but it'll look even better in Mario Kart World. Bowser Castle 4. I typed Bowser Castle 4. They renamed it to Bowser's Castle 4. For Super Nintendo, Koopa Troopa Beach 2. In Mario Kart World, they just call it Koopa Troopa Beach. And they dropped the numbers from the names of the Super Nintendo Mario circuits as well. So I'm a little bit concerned when you think about courses from previous games that had numbers in them. And especially if they're like themed courses, like your Mario Circuit, your Bowser's Castle, and your Rainbow Road, how they would handle them not having prefixes. Like there's just 2 Bowser's Castles in this game, and then the only thing that distinguishes them is the fact that one of them is an old one and one of them is the new one. I don't know if there's any way they could handle that. However, on a counterpoint, this makes too much sense. So it's practically proven as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So the Super Cup with Shy Guy Beach, Lakeside Park, Yoshi Desert, and Bowser Castle 4, perfect continuity. No problems there. Then we have the Circuit Cup. The Circuit Cup will feature Cheep Cheep Island, which was fairly nicely remade in Tour, I think. Not the most impressive, but it was all right. Then you have Broken Pier, another one of hasn't had a remake at all yet. Didn't make it to Tour because of Boo Lake, but you know, they do something nice with it. Then the third track of Circuit Cup will be Rainbow Road. Super Circuit Rainbow Road. And this, I'm sure, will be... what's a good adjective? How would you describe a remake of Super Circuit Rainbow Road?
You remind me of the narrator from the
Mario
Stanley Parable saying that.
I don't know what the Stanley Parable is. Now, what would a Mario Kart World remake of Super Circuit Rainbow Road look like? It would look like...
It would look Peem.
Peem! That's
Peem!
the adjective. That's the only adjective you can really use. Okay, Peem. So, now...
Do you want to talk about the fourth track of the cup, or shall I?
No, you have to start. You have to go back up to when you talked about the Bowser... The GBA Bowser Castles versus the Super Nintendo.
Alright. So, let's point something out here, okay? In Mario Kart DS, Mario Kart 7, and Mario Kart Wii, I said those out of order, who cares? We got remakes of Mario Circuit 1, Mario Circuit 2, Mario Circuit 3 from, Super Mario Kart, SNES. Beautiful. Those were just, plain old, the exact same as they were in the original game, just made 3D. Very simple. We also, in those games, got remakes of Bowser Castle 1, Bowser Castle 2, Bowser Castle 3. The exact same thing, Very faithful, very normal, very everything. And in the games that would follow, they were doing that every single game. You would think in Mario Kart 8 they would do something similar, and then they just didn't. They didn't do either of the 4 courses. They left both of them out. Now, you can probably see where this is going. You can probably see the similarity here. In Tour, they finally went and did Bowser Castle 4, and they gave it a big, grand remake. So, who's to say that they won't go and take a Mario Circuit 4 and do the same thing? It's the same thing. 1, 2, 3, beautiful, faithful, always keep them faithful. 1, 2, 3, beautiful, faithful, always keep them faithful. For one of them, they go to 4 and they do it big and grand. For the other one, well, why not do the same thing? It's literally just a more fluctuant, if that's even the correct word, version of Mario Circuit 3. There's literally, they have so much possibility here. Like, they could do so much with a remake of Mario Circuit 4, and they want to because of what they did with Bowser Castle 4. So, it's not a stretch to say that they would probably do that kind of remake for it. So...
unfortunately, this is Super Circuit Island. This isn't Super Mario Kart Island. So why would they put that here?
Here's the counterpoint. They're the 2 flat games, which they've always basically treated as the same for some reason, even though they're not. I mean, literally in Wii, they had 2 of each. They had 2 courses from each game, if I remember correctly, and then they had 4 courses from each game, except for GBA and Super Circuit, which both each got 2. Like they've always acted like they're the same thing. And here's the extra part. This is in the Circuit Cup. Bam, Mario Circuit 4 in the Circuit Cup.
I thought you were
as the
going to mention...
fourth track.
I thought you were going to mention that Mario Circuit 4 was also in Super Circuit. As an extra
yeah,
track.
I for some reason I thought you already brought that up.
I
But
didn't.
yeah, it is in Super Circuit.
It is a Super Circuit track. It just is.
Yeah, it is. It's a Super
No.
Circuit track.
No, it's in.
And it's in the Circuit Cup.
Okay.
And
no.
it's.
Yeah.
And they treat the games like they're the same game anyways. And it's in Super Circuit.
Listen,
like-
Cheap Island, Broken Pier, Rainbow Road, Super Nintendo, Mario Circuit 4, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
That's the Circuit Cup.
That's what I'm
the
talking
Circuit
about.
Cup. Now, you probably have one sense of one little doubt here. What about Pipeline? Screw Pipeline.
They killed it.
There's your answer.
They took it out back. Shot it.
You know how like the Choco Islands are like only used in intermissions? Pipeline's in intermission.
Womp womp. Rip
I'm
Bozo.
sorry, I cannot keep a straight face after saying that.
Rip.
Just Pipeline's in intermission.
Pack Watch. L. Rip Bozo.
Yeah, all you Pipeline fans, definitely not me included. I'm definitely not secretly crying behind the screen here.
I definitely did not
Yeah.
have a mental breakdown
El
when it
Bozo.
wasn't in Wave 6.
Yeah, I definitely didn't either. I'm not joking. I felt the cold shiver go down my spine the moment that I realized that it was the missing course.
You can go back and watch my reaction to when Rosalina's high
Yeah,
school
he
came on screen.
he didn't have any sort of doubt at all. He was like, "Yep, expected this. Screw Pipeline. So glad Rosalina's Ice World got in here." He did not whimper like a child. He didn't do that.
Oh. Opposite day, huh?
Yeah, opposite day, huh?
Also, why didn't
Anyways.
why didn't they put DS Palm Shore in this game?
Oh yeah, that is actually a really good point. Like, this isn't even like related to anything else we've been talking about.
No.
like this is not related. Like, this is an actual like. Obviously, this video is satire. Why? Like, genuine thought. Why
they're
didn't
already-
they put DS Palm Shore in this game?
They're pulling so much from DS and 7, and like, maybe the easiest insertion of all time.
Yeah, you just slap it in the middle of the ocean. It's that easy.
Just one more battle course. Why not?
Yeah. And that gives them an excuse to make another Nitro battle course, which, from what I can see in the very few that I've seen, seems to just be like they're in the middle of like the locations.
We know Big Donut's there.
Yeah.
We've seen. Well, Mario Wiki refuses to acknowledge it for some godforsaken reason, but I'm 99% certain that Thwomp Desert is there as well. I'm 99% certain that this one particular quicksand pit is Thwomp Desert. I'm also huffing copious amounts of copium for Chain Chomp Roulette because its music was in the Mario Kart World Direct.
It's my favorite battle course.
I'm copious amounts of copium.
Copious amounts of copium.
And
That's wild.
Listen, the course, it takes place in an aquarium. You're like surrounded by water on all sides. Maybe it's hidden under a cove, okay? And maybe you can't see it on the map because it's hidden under a cove and you have to go under there to find it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's all
but
I'm
like
saying.
genuine thought, why isn't DS Palm Shore in this game? Like, I that is something I don't think I will understand. It's like one of the easiest things. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's kind of like saying why isn't every single beach course in this game? Now that I think about it, because those are all kind of easy to just slap in the middle of the ocean.
I mean, you know.
You know what? Fair point. Yeah. Yeah, the only one that actually makes sense now that I think about it slightly more is DS Palm Shore. I needed to put like a good extra 2 minutes of thought into that.
Now you know what this game really needs is a story mode.
I would not be compelled to that, but at this point, it's
And you know
way out
what?
of the
And you know what that
question.
story mode should have? Because someone asked, what would the story even be for this game? And I'll tell you. I'll tell you what the story would be. So, King Bob-omb wants Tour Rainbow Road all to himself. But then, Wario Coliseum appears and gives the heroes hints to help find it. The story will feature beloved side characters such as Riverside and BC3 to help them along the way. They will have to make their way through legendary locales such as Mario Circuit Ultra, Choco Island Ultra, Paris Promenade 4. Can our friendly men rescue Tour Rainbow Road while also attaining justice for King? #Justice for King, and facing down the real hidden villain, pulling the strings behind the scenes the whole time, the ultimate twist villain, Dino Jungle.
Yes! Peak! It's peak! It's peak! It's beautiful! The best story out there! Yes! Yes! Oh. In case you need it whenever you're editing that part, I can send you the Paris Promenade 4 map I made like 3 years ago. Or 2 years ago. Yes! Peak! It's peak! That's what the story's gonna be. That is absolutely gonna be the story. And if they don't do it, I'll do it. I'll do it. I will do as much. I will spend as much money as I can on an entire team of people to put together this story and put it in the game. It will happen. It will be peak. My hands hurt because I was clapping.
The Wario Coliseum 3D model as an NPC. That's
Yes!
what I'm picturing.
Yes! That is exactly what it will be. That's what the story is. It's the main character. I'm dying.
You're freaking dying. Man, I'm excited for this game.
I am too. I was looking through my old, I don't know if I've said this before, and this is probably really weird, but I save every single status I ever set on Discord. And I was looking through
that is really weird.
and I was looking through old ones, and I saw where at one point, like a couple months ago, I had, I want Mario Kart World, like a million exclamation marks after it. And I was just like, same. Yeah, just same.
Same.
Anyways, that's all we had to talk about. We've been sitting here for 56 minutes talking about Tour Rainbow Road in the Super Circuit DLC.
Mathematically proving them. Rigorously
Yes.
mathematically proving them.
Yeah, that's what we did here.
N64 Mario Raceway. Am I right?
Yeah!
Am I right?
Oh, let's This is the outro music. The video just abruptly ends there, and it ends like the credits are scrolling, and this audio is what's happening. Subscribe to Not Shy Guy. Welcome to your final test. I'm Mr. Beast. You can scrap the yes, cause I'm never Mr. B. You got a cup from honey on the thread of a gun glass. Well, I got a cup from honey, that's another check, and I'm gonna cash. This is actually just...
It's funny looking at the waveforms being created on my on my sound recorder as I'm doing the.
Is that actually just where the credits are gonna scroll?
Everything we're saying right now is going to be in the video, but like behind.
It's on a black
credits
screen.
or
Yeah.
black
it's like
screen, something.
Black screen.
Uh,
I remember whenever I was little, anytime that my cousin didn't want to put up with me, I walked into his room, he would have his laptop open and it would be off, and he would say that he was playing black screen and just be mashing all the keys.
That's legendary. I gotta try that sometime.
So like I'm playing black screen and he'd just be like mashing every key on the keyboard. Like that's beautiful.
Oh, you just sent me the entire gameplay of black screen.
Yeah.
KJSHNBV space BHNCXN space VCBJKLVFDFV space KLJ. I'm losing my mind. JFK.
Yeah! And that's where the video ends. That's where it cuts off.
Okay. That's perfect. That's perfect.